for those of you who are here on time, I would like to honor that and get started, if that's okay. So I'm so excited about today. I really am. You guys are going to be seeing Leka more often because I talk with her. I'm gonna start featuring her more on some of our things. And what I'm gonna do right now is I know it's horrible, Leka. It's just the worst when we do that. I know. Sorry. But I want to introduce everybody to Leka Devatha. That's how you pronounce it, right?
Hi, it's Devatha.
Devatha. Okay, I was close. Devatha. Okay. And Leka's in our Keller Williams Kirkland office. That's one part of what she does. She's a nationally renowned investor, teacher, and trainer, and real estate investor herself. Often a guest on all the podcasts, including Bigger Pockets. So a lot of you guys have probably seen Leka. She's a best-selling author. She's participated in a book with female investors. It's a great book. And really been one of my resources and go-tos as I have started my journey of real estate investing. And I was so excited when I found out I got to lead this path to $1 million, and I reached out to Leka because I have never, in really all of the coaching and training that I do in my role, and by the way, Oregon people, my name's Vija. I should have started that way. All of our Ben Kinney people know me. I'm the president of our Ben Kinney Keller Williams brokerages. So I'm Leslie's counterpart here in Washington State. And all the coaching and teaching and training I do, I've never had as many agents asking me about real estate investing. And I just think it's because, a lot of us, despite world events, have had a really great couple of years, and we have income and we have cash right now, and we're seeing the market go up, and we're like, instinctually, we know that we should be doing it. Some of you guys are amazing investors already. And I know you're going to learn something and perhaps be teachers in your small groups when we break out. Some of you are like me, who innately know you should be doing this, and probably you just haven't jumped off the deep end yet. And I started about 14 months ago, really jumping off the deep end on it with out-of-state investing. I've got 2 properties closed now, one in Texas, one in Oklahoma, a third that's going to close on Monday, and contracts out on 3 or 4 more, all in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So we are at a high velocity entering this world of, Leka, so many things we're learning.
I love it.
Yeah. So I wanted to kind of focus on that today. So we're going to do it in 3 parts. The first part is going to be understanding your goals and why, your reasons for investing. Is it for, retirement? We're going to go through that in a second. Is it for income now? Is it for just increasing your net worth? There's different goals you can have. So we're going to talk about different goals and, how you might make that decision. And then we're going to go right into breakout groups on that. Because I think that if you guys kind of go, okay, this is what I think my number 1 or 2 goals should be, I think that'll help you listen and have a filter to listen to the rest of it. Then what we're going to do is I asked Leka to pull out her worksheet that she uses to, her criteria for purchasing investment properties. And I thought I'd show you what I'm doing in Tulsa as well. Like I said, I think we're on our 6th acquisition as far as being in contract, and that's in a 90-day period. So we're going really quick there. So I'll show you what we're doing there. And then I asked Leka to walk us through some of her projects. And the reason I wanted to do that with you guys specifically is because I feel like there is a dearth of information for real estate investing out there. There was for me. There was no shortage of information. There wasn't a lot of information about what we do in Seattle and Portland and our surrounding areas with our price points. There wasn't a lot there. All of these are talking about, lower price markets, right? Leka is doing this in Seattle, which crosses over really well to Oregon, guys. Like Seattle, super similar, right? Salem, all of us kind of have these high price point markets. Even our lowest price point market is really high on a national average, right? So I wanted her to walk us through some examples of her projects. And I see Anton Stetner's coming in. Anton's a massive investor who is just walking in, so he doesn't even know I'm talking about him. But Anton might be able to jump into at that end point. So does that sound like a good plan of action today? Are you guys into this? Okay, I'm so excited. Just lie to me. Tell me you are, even if you're not. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, Mara's like, Vija, I can see I can see you just going, Via, what are you doing? Do you want this, Mara? Is this exciting?
Yeah, no, this is so exciting. This has been a frequent conversation in our household. So I'm excited for these conversations.
What category do you fall in? Are you an investor already, or do you kind of know you should be and you haven't done it?
Yeah, so we know that we should be and haven't done it, but are like actively wanting to begin.
So besides Leslie Hilbert, who's always excited, that's what I love about you, Leslie. Would you guys do me a favor? I'm going to pull up my slide deck really quick. Would you guys get in chat and let me know, are you an investor already? Do you want to be, but you haven't really done much? Maybe you have like one investment property, but you know you probably should be doing more. I'd just like to get a feel of where everybody is. Okay, Matthew, 6 units, great. Anton, next time I lead this, I'll pull you on and we'll do a deep dive with what you're doing. It's interesting.
That's so awesome to see so many people already investing.
I love this. I'm just looking at like 3 Airbnb, investor already 4 units. Carrie Anderson, I had this one random property in Moses Lake, long story, and then just sat on it for 10 years and didn't do anything. We are talking to all of you guys. Zach and Jody, you 100,000% like need to invest because you're doing great, right, in real estate. Jacob, too. Perfect. This is perfect, you guys. This is perfect. We have some really good. Okay, good. I just wanted to get a sense of where everyone was. Okay, let's go right in, Leka. So Leka's gonna be doing the primary content for most of this, but I wanted to start because I fall into the category of, I was 48 years old 3 years ago. Do the math. I'm going to turn 52 next week. I don't want to talk about it. Okay, let's not talk about it, but I just talked about it. So I was 48 years old 4 years ago and realized I had nothing for retirement, nothing. I've been a realtor since I was 30, right? I have one random rental property in Moses Lake, and I just woke up one day and said, whoa, I've made a lot of money and I've spent a lot of money. And you know what? I'm doing well on my primary residence, but I don't have any cash flow or income coming in when I retire, right? So I connected with this guy, started working for this guy, and he has just been, Ben Kinney has been instrumental. And I also have to say, Wendy Papazan in my dolls group, her best life has been instrumental equally in different ways in this journey for me. And like I said, I now am on my way to, by the end of this year, I will have gone from 0 4 years ago to 20 to 25 properties, single family properties. And then have already been invited to participate in a big consolidation. I would say by the end of next year, I'll be at close to 75 or 100 doors. It'll be very fast. It'll be like a hockey stick. And you can do this too. And it's actually not that risky. It's just not that risky. I know it sounds freaky. Maybe you just want to buy 2 units, right? It doesn't, whatever it is. So I am living this, and you can do this quicker than you think. In 2018, when I started working for Ben, my net worth was negative. It was negative 150,000. And now last time we ran it, it's close to 2 million. I'll just be transparent with you all. I don't share that on webinars, but I'll tell you guys that. Not very high. A lot of you are higher, but I'll tell you what, it's a hell of a lot better than it was. And it's going up, right? Every day it's going up. So the first thing that I had to do, that I want you guys to do in your breakout right now, is I had to decide, what I wanted, what my outcome was that I wanted. And for me, it was retirement. I would also share, there's secondary ones. I am looking for a second and third home that I would like to zero base. So I'm actively working on financing to get my first short-term rental Airbnb so that I can have a second home and just try to pay for that. That's all. I don't even make a lot of money on it. Just, can I have a second home and have it paid for, right? That's a worthy goal. It's not a primary goal. Like I'm really going into this, like I need to get, retirement income. But I would also say I want income now too. Like I don't want to necessarily wait 20 years. I know I'm old, but I still got another 20 years in me. Sorry, you're gonna have to see this face for 20 years. It's gonna get really wrinkly too. But I want income now. I want passive income now too, and I want it later. So there's this combination of like 1 and 2 and 4, but then I also want to increase my net worth. I track my net worth now every month or two. I mean, I'm pretty diligent about it, right? I'm kind of obsessed with it a little bit. And so, I want that too. I understand that when I have a net worth, I have assets I can fall back on, right? It makes me feel safe. and secure. It's just a need I have. I also want to always buy a primary residence. This is just me. I've always pushed myself hard on my primary residence, and I bought a house 3.5 years ago when I was remargining my life during that story I told you, and I've made 1.3 million on it in the last 3.5 years by fixing and flipping it as we live in it, right? And so I'm actually at a decision now. I have to decide if I want to, what I want to do with that equity right now. That's what I'm working on. So there's different reasons for investing. And so what I want to do right now, Katie has put you guys all in breakout rooms, is I want you guys to answer 3 questions, and I will put these in chat so you'll have them in front of you in your breakouts. I want you guys to, introduce each other, yourself to each other. Give a very brief background, super brief, just in chat, because I want to get through this. Like, hey, I don't invest now, but I want to start. I've got 2 units. I've got 4 units. I've got a rent. Carrie and we had a random 1 unit, right? Rate your readiness of retirement, 1 to 10. How ready do you feel? Are you on track? Rate your current income. Do you like it? Do you want more? Do you want less? Do you want more? Number 3, talk about what you want to do. Do you want to start investing in real estate? Have you? Do you want to increase it? What is your reason? Is it retirement? Like I just talked about. Is it retirement? Is it, you want to have a second or third home? So I want you guys to briefly go break out, do that. I'm going to give you about 8 minutes, and then we're going to come back and we're going to walk through Leka's formula. I'm going to kind of hand the floor to Leka, and then I'm going to show you, like I said, what I'm doing. Deal? All right, you're on, Katie. You can throw them into the rooms, and I'll put this in chat. So while everybody's coming back, does anyone want to share what they decided, anything, any ahas from that? Hey, Aaron Thomas. Hey, Raider. Hey, Jen Singer. Hey, Jody. Does anyone want to share from their breakouts?
I'll share. I'll share.
Yes, please.
Our group is, so a couple of them have investment properties, which was just fun. It's just fun to hear how different people are approaching it.
Yeah.
We were like, just as we were kicked out of our breakout room, we were talking about the difference between investing locally and investing far away. And so I'm really curious. I'm super curious about what you're doing, Vija, with your out of state stuff and why you're choosing that. I'm sure affordability is a factor, but anyway, it's really interesting to hear everybody's perspectives, and the group consensus was that we all want to do more. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else?
I met Kristen, and I thought Kristen was really cool because she has so many investment properties, and she's doing all this by being a full-time real estate broker. She has 2 kids and a husband that works full-time, and she's hustling.
Love that so much. Anyone else? Do we have any? I know some of you guys are real estate investors, and like I'm staring at Anton's picture. I know Anton is. Is there anyone here that's like a pretty committed real estate investor? I know Anton is. I can't see any other hands raised, but
what does committed mean, Vija? What's committed? How would you define committed?
How many units do you have, Phil? Hi, Phil.
Hi. 31. So I would say
that's pretty committed, my friend.
Committed.
That's pretty darn committed. Are they single family, multifamily?
Maybe I should be committed. Maybe that's it.
Are they single family, multifamily?
Mix. I started buying single family as a good foundation, so that if I got in trouble, I could liquidate fast and not have to leave too much money on the table. And then I ventured into multifamily after that.
Yeah. Good.
I know Lake she was in my breakout group, and yeah, she's doing amazing too. I admire her, and yeah, she's on it. She's I think she's the one that I know of. So
Yeah, she's going to teach us a lot. Well, Leka, let me, let's make sure we are both. There we go. All right. So Leka, let's dive in. Maybe you can, do you want to start with walking everybody through what your portfolio looks like now and, how you got started into this and how I'm especially interested in how you analyze properties. And I know you said you'd share your worksheet that you've been using pretty consistently for the last decade.
Yeah, absolutely. So I got started, I'm in the Seattle market, and I got started investing in real estate in 2014. Back then, honestly, I didn't know anything about investing in real estate. I just thought you could own the one home that you live in, and that was the extent of your real estate portfolio. So to own like multiple properties, to own apartment buildings, to own office buildings, like that was just like a big, like, wow, like, can you actually do that? Can I actually do that? Like, there's no way. And so I started to dive in and I started to dig deep and I started to learn. And back then I started to fix and flip homes. So far, I flipped over 50 single family homes all in the Seattle market. And if you know the Seattle market, it's competitive, it's hot. And the way that I've focused on creating a good income out of every project is by taking on like really large flips, like down to the stud remodels, engineering, structural stuff is the only way to go. And then once I started to do that, I started exploring creative exit strategies, like what does a lot subdivision look like? What does an addition look like? My goal was to play in my market because this is where my crew was. This is the market that I know best. And so it's not an easy market to own properties. It's not an easy market to rinse and repeat because everything is so expensive. So the only way that I could do that is by, buying super distressed properties and adding massive value by adding equity, by remodeling these units. And so I kind of did that, also raising rents is a huge deal. And then once I stabilized these properties, they appraised for double of what I bought them for. And now they are cash flowing, but also they are heavily appreciating because the market is so hot. And so that's like really the best way, because even if the market took a hit, my properties have so much equity that it would take a lot to bring that down. So that's kind of how I got started, and that's what I've been doing. Now I ventured into buying office buildings, apartment buildings, syndicating bigger deals. So just a whole bunch of cool things.
What does your portfolio look like right now?
Okay, so right now I own about 5 single family homes, all in King County, King County, Pierce, and also some Snohomish. I own a 7-unit office building in South Lake Union, right next to Amazon and Facebook and Apple. I own a 5-plex in Queen Anne. I own quite a few triplexes, 4-plexes, and 5-plexes around King County. And then I'm also part of a larger syndication, 130 unit syndication in Orlando. And then I own a triplex in Tampa and another single family flip in Raleigh. And I started with 0 cash. I took a HELOC on my house, and that was 8 years ago.
Wow, that's incredible. So you guys can see she completely, she runs the gamut, and Leka teaches and trains all around the world, but certainly around the country. Okay, so let's dive in. I think that Leka, the most relevant for this group, especially just kind of hearing the feedback from breakouts and seeing chat, is going to be single family analysis is going to be my guess. Do you want to walk us through how you analyze a property?
Sure. So basically, I built a super simple spreadsheet back when I first got started, and I've just been, revamping it as I go, because rates change, commissions change, lots of different things change. When I first started, I was paying 12% interest in hard money costs with 2 points. Obviously, that has changed over the years. So you just change the spreadsheet as you go. Okay, let me share my screen. And this, you guys, is a real life analysis of a deal that I just got done. It was a single family flip that I did in Bothell. It closed 2 weeks ago.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. So here we go. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, but yeah, you know, old. Remember, I admitted my age, so we have to get bigger here. Okay.
All right, hold
Good.
on. Let's zoom in. Oh, hold on. Can you see now?
Yeah, we can see. Can you guys see? Okay, I can see. If I can see, I think everyone can see.
All right. Okay. So super simple spreadsheet. It basically goes through bucket by bucket on the different costs that go into a flip. And this is targeted to a single family flip. So this house, I bought this house for $670K in Bothell. So don't look at this. It says Shoreline, but it's really Bothell. And then my repair, now this is a deal that's already been done. So these costs are true. When I first went into the deal, like I think my repair estimate was $120K, but really I ended up spending $140. So this goes into my repair bucket. Now, again, estimated hold time is typically 6 to 7 months, but I got this one done in 5 months. So 5 months. So just my purchase and my repair costs total to $810. Now, the second bucket is my financing costs. And with financing costs, there's your first lien, which is your hard money costs, or however you're financing. Your second mortgage could be a private money lender or your self-funding, which most of my deals are self-fund. And then your third could be an additional loan if you have to take it. So these are basically how the financing costs lay out. So this one, I got an 8% interest only loan with a 1 point. And then I kind of did the same for my private loan too. Because it's I'm still paying interest on that loan. So just my financing cost for 5 months was $32,245. And that includes all their underwriting fees and like additional miscellaneous costs. Okay, then the next bucket here is your holding costs. Now, most flippers don't take this into account, but it's huge. And these are some hidden costs that if you don't take into account, like you can mess up the deal pretty bad because in some cases it is expensive. Okay, so what goes into this bucket, right? There's property taxes. If you're in an HOA, then there's HOA condo fees, insurance costs, utility costs. And then so your total holding costs just for this bucket is $583 a month.
I'm surprised there's not interest or hard money costs. Oh, because you didn't use that for this. Okay.
This is my hard money cost. So this is my interest cost.
So you're not putting monthly holding, you're not putting financing and monthly holding, you're keeping it as a separate bucket.
So it's in here. It just like breaks it down differently. But they all like this holding cost is only for your taxes and your insurance, and your utilities.
Perfect.
Okay, and then you guys are very familiar with your buying transaction costs and your selling costs. So this is where your this one doesn't include realtor fees because oftentimes I'm sourcing my deals off market and my purchase price already includes the assignment fees or the commissions. So this is only relating to your escrow, title, like basically your HUD costs. And that's pretty high, but I'd rather be high than low. And then your selling costs, right? Your realtor fees, your excise taxes, your staging costs, all of that falls into this bucket. And that's like almost $100,000 for this deal. And then this is how it kind of breaks down is, so we did end up selling this house for 1.21.
Okay.
It was listed for $1,050,000 and it sold for $1,200,000. And so this is how it all shakes out. And then it gives you a net profit. And this is really my net profit was $268 on this deal. And so this is just a good way to analyze a flip when someone sends it to me, because I get like 10 deals I'm looking at every day. And if I had to go through and pull information on every one of those, it's just not possible. So I just plug it into my spreadsheet. I'm like, okay, this is a really good deal. Like this is the deal I'm going after.
Okay. So do you fill this out for every deal that crosses your desk or for a certain percentage of them?
So with the holding, buying, financing costs, it kind of stays the same. But a lot of the selling transaction, the buying cost, like whatever is a percentage, it automatically populates. So like, you know, it could be that you sold, like you bought a house for 550K. You only put in 100K. And then you sold this house, or someone's bringing you the deal and saying, okay, you can sell this house for, I don't know, 900K. And then I typically make this at least 6 months. And then over here, I go down, I'm like, oh, that's 143K profit. That's amazing. I'm going to do this deal. Or like, you can only sell this for 800 grand. And I'm like, that I wouldn't touch. Because it's too skinny of a margin for me. So,
and I think the cool thing about it is, you know, for all of us here, in what Leka is showing us is our own market, right? She's doing an analysis in our own market where she's a realtor. And so for all of us here, we just know, we know that selling price that we call ARV, after repair value, ARV. We know that ARV so well, right? And we understand the selling transaction costs. So this should be an easy spreadsheet, I think, for most of us.
yeah.
Can I show you mine? Do you want to see mine? What I do?
Yeah, let's see it.
It's super different and it's not as good. But I actually want to show you it because it's not as good. So is anyone here, and you can either unmute or go and chat. Did that intimidate you? You feel like you can do that? Either unmute or throw that in chat. Like, be honest, like you're like, whoa, that was too much. I didn't get it. Or no, I can do that.
Yeah, I have a spreadsheet where I analyze them too.
Dana, is that Dana talking?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And so you're using a similar one, Dana?
Mine's not as detailed as hers.
I'll show you mine.
It works.
Well, here's the thing, you know, on the other hand, I'm representing an out-of-state investing. Now, it might, Jody Hill, you were asking, you know, why, and it might seem like it's riskier to go out of state, right? Seems riskier. To me, it's safer. And the reason it's safer is that I don't feel confident playing around with $800,000. I'm a newer investor. It doesn't feel comfortable to me. So for me, when I can go to Tulsa, I'm under contract for a house for $20,000. Now it's going to cost $40,000 to repair it, but it's going to be worth, ARV is going to be, I think that's going to be at, I don't know, 100 ARV, and we're going to rent it. So we're going to be in at 60. And we won't be able to refinance. That one is probably too low, but we're going to be in at 60. But honestly, I think we're going to get $800 or $900 a month in rent. That is above the 1% rule, right? That's an incredible return. So I'm going to make you all feel better and show you what I have been doing in a very kindergarten way. Very kindergarten way. Let's pull Via's unfancy spreadsheet out. So no one showed me a spreadsheet. What's happened is we were getting so many deals. We're sourcing off market in Tulsa. We're mailing letters. We're dropping 2,500 letters. We were a week. We have a full-time employee there that we're paying $800 a month, full-time employee. And she goes out and we have a whole system and process, and we're reviewing one deal a week on average is what we're reviewing now. It took about 45 days. And so we have our first one that I think we're going to wholesale because I just can't keep up, to Lena, who I think is on this call. But if any of you guys are interested, we can talk about it. We have 2 crews of handymen. We have an inspector. We have a whole ground crew. My husband has been going out every few months. So it makes sense now that we're there and committed, and we have a full-time employee and a ground crew. We can own 50 units, no problem, right? I started to look at apartment buildings there too. I think I'm going to graduate quickly, Leka, because it's single family thing. Slow going. So what we do, it is super basic and super simple. And these are all real deals that are done. They're not rented yet, so none of them are done. But our first one was Delaware. It was not a BRRR, so we did not fix this one up. It was pretty much. It needed some fix. It needs some fix up, but I wouldn't call it a BRRR. So we got into contract at 148. Appraisal came back at 158. 25 is spot on. Our estimate is exactly what we seem to be spending. It seems like that'll be fine. I don't think our ARV, I think that we're going to basically be pat with that, like with what we're putting in it and what our ARV is. So all in 173, I think it'll be worth, about that, right? We put 40,000 down as a down payment. Oh, whoops, sorry. $40,000 down as a down payment. And then our loan amount was 109. So our equity position, if you include our down payment, is we're about 48,000 in equity in that house right now. Total cash in was high. Remember, this was our very first one. So this, we no lines of credit or anything, no fix and flip financing. Leka's company turned us down, Leka. 65,000 cash in. We will refi this one in the next 3 or 6 months and see if we can get some of that back out. Our whole entire payment is $824. Rent, we're advertising at $1,500. I don't know, we might get, even if we get $1,400, we'll be at a positive cash flow on this one at $576, pretty much right out of the gate, right? And then Urbana, we're signing on it tomorrow. It's closing Monday. We got it at 137. Appraisal came back at 155, which is amazing. So I threw 140 in. Repair estimate on that one, very, very minimal, just some super quick cosmetics. ARV at about 150. Down payment 30, loan amount 100, equity position about 40 on that one, maybe a little higher. So total cash in on that one is 40. So we're about 100K in on these two, right? And we will probably refi this one. PD's a little higher, rates went up. And we're probably going to rent it a little lower. So it's a little bit of a lower cash flow position on that, say $250. But it'll start cranking right away. You know, we'll see. This one is a fun one, 58th North. We got it at 20. I would say current value might be 20, but never mind. We're going to put about 40 into that. Immediately it'll be worth 80. And then, I don't think we're going to refinance that one out. It's just too low. So, you know, we'll be in a lot of cash on that one. We'll probably stick around with 60 and then look at refinancing that in a year or two, get our cash out. We'll just kind of see how that market does. But, well, we don't have PD. I don't know why that's there. Point is that one's going to be a really great cash flow monster. That one's going to cash flow better than the house that we have for 150. And then if you go down here, you'll see all of these ones that were under review. Actually, we're in contract, I think, on 2 of these. We have acquisition meetings every Wednesday with our ground person there. And I didn't go yesterday. So Collinsville, I know that we're in contract on, I need to move that up. So that's what ours looks like a super, yours is way better, but you know what, that's been really good. So all parties can log on to that spreadsheet. Everybody is keeping track of it. And, you know, I guess my point is in showing you that you don't have to be that fancy. Like it's working just fine.
You know, and the one thing that you are hitting is the 1% rule for rent, which is amazing.
Yeah. That's, yeah. We researched about 40 or 50 markets throughout the US. Here, I'll show you really quick. And then I want to turn it back over to you. We researched about, 40, 50 markets around the US. And, I think Jody, you were asking me about this because I just knew that I knew we would have to go out of that area. And we just, I had never done this before. So I don't know if it's right or wrong. Okay. Oh, I don't know what that is. So we basically just, I had my assistant just go through, you can see population. I wanted a growing market. I didn't want a declining market. Just looking at median home price, appreciation, any stat and data point that I thought would be good for me. I was really, really interested in this. I really spent time on the primary employers. A lot of these markets are not going to appreciate a lot, but I wanted stability. Like, Albuquerque was just too high for median price, but I love the stability of national laboratories, public employers, whatever. Violent crime and property crime bothered me in some of the Ohio markets. I'm not going to lie. Like I got a little spooked. It just here, let's see if I can find any. Look at Cleveland, 44% and 50, it just felt really high to me, honestly. I just was a little uncomfortable with that. Property tax. I love Texas and I know everyone's moving to Texas. We own a house in Austin and I do think San Antonio might be our next market, but oh my gosh, you guys, really high property taxes there. And it threw us on our numbers in Austin, and it's fine. My kids living in it. I look at Louisville burglary, maybe I need to get over myself, but I just got a little nervous. So we chose Tulsa, a variety of different reasons. You know, it just felt like a really great, you know, it's growing at a slow rate, but they're working at it growing. You can see, you know, really nice median home price. We knew we'd be buying under median. I like that. It's still appreciating though, right? I feel like we kind of have the best of both worlds there. And we liked the rents. You know, I liked everything I saw there. I liked, you can see the primary employers just felt really, I didn't want it to be all oil and gas. I was nervous about that. It wasn't. So, you know, there you go. That's what we did.
Love it.
So, before we move on, I kind of want you to walk through some of your projects. Someone was asking me, Heather is asking. So Heather, I like a lot of them. I like Louisville, anything in Tennessee, anything, Florida, Tennessee, or Texas. We got priced out of Florida, but the country is moving to Idaho, Montana, Utah, Texas, Tennessee, and Florida. That's where the world's moving right now. So I just couldn't afford some of those markets. You know, they just didn't work. So I like Louisville. I like Leka. What else do we got? You can probably help me. I didn't want a northern. I wasn't excited about hammering weather on the house. So I kind of leaned a little bit like low, like southern. What else? What else do I like? I love San Antonio. I think that might be my next one.
I like Raleigh.
Raleigh. Yeah. I looked at Raleigh and in Greensboro. Was it Greensboro? South Carolina. I like that one.
Yeah.
I actually made calls there. Greenville. I like Greenville.
Yeah. I actually even like Tampa. Amazing appreciation, not enough inventory.
Oh, I don't have that on here because I think I told, okay, I'm going to add that. Because I think I told myself, Tampa, see, that's why I do these. I learn more than everyone. Okay. So yeah. So, you know, so that's what mine look like. And next time we meet, if you're interested, we can walk through some of my projects and by then they will have been rented. So we can really do some real analysis and I can show you pictures. But I was hoping that for the last 15 minutes we're together, Leka, you could walk us through some real live projects that you've done in Seattle and Portland and Oregon, very similar markets, right? That's why I thought this was so perfect to have Leka on.
Yeah, and so I'll just go through my deck, and if you guys have any questions, Via, you can stop me and ask me.
Anyone can, you guys can.
Anyone.
Dana, if your sister-in-law is near Greenville, I love that market, and that means you probably have access to handymen and everything. That's a great market for you to consider. Okay, sorry. Keep going.
There we go. All right, so, and I'm just gonna bang through this really quick. So this was a house that I did back in 2017, I wanna say. So these numbers are vastly different right now, but this is what happened back then. So see the before, those are the kinds of homes I like the most because they have decent floor plans, completely distressed and unfinished basements. Again, for a newer investor, that might be a bit much because most unfinished basements, the city requires you now to put in seismic retrofitting. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff that they make you do. So not the best for a new investor, but if you have experience, then this is just the perfect opportunity.
What neighborhood is this in, Leka?
This was Columbus City. All right, so then this is another one. This is 3 minutes from where I live. It's in Redmond. And this is the before was so bad. Like I walked in and I just felt like throwing up because it was just so trashed. It was an older elderly couple that lived there. They stopped moving around the house. They just sat in one place. And then, you know, it just kind of depreciated in value drastically. And so this is how we completely fixed it up, turned it into a beautiful home. And I sold this again back in 2017 for $700K. And this home today is worth 1.4. So
Leka, how are you sourcing these off market?
So I have a really wide network of real estate brokers and wholesalers that bring me these deals. Okay. I don't buy off a list. I don't buy off a mass generated email. I only buy off my relationships, which is why when I look at a property and I can just do a desktop analysis because I know the source and I know that they can estimate repairs to the T. They're really good at estimating ARV, and they're really good at negotiating with sellers. So I'm getting a good deal.
It's great.
Yep. So this is a house I did in Bothell. Again, super distressed, but we fixed it up real nice, made it extremely modern, and it turned out beautiful. This house is the smallest house that I've done. It's a 530 square foot house in Renton.
What?
I know, it was such a darling house, but it was so bad because the seller had basically left it abandoned for 7 months. My contractor went in to look at this house, and he was basically like, do not come in for 2 weeks. Let us demo this property and then come in. So this is completely demoed. Did not look like this when I bought it. But we turned it into a pretty beautiful house.
That's incredible. Mind if I ask you questions as we go through these? Do you have your own staging inventory?
No, I have an amazing stager I have used for 8 years. She staged over 100 properties for me. And she is like an extension of my brain. She just gets my aesthetic. For example, like this house is a tiny house, and the furniture she needed to put into it was tiny. And she did that. Like, you know, if she doesn't have furniture, she will go out, she'll buy stuff from
You just factor that into the cost, and it is, that's great.
Yeah, okay. Don't worry about it. Okay, so how do we take these properties, right? Like these are all great flips, great income, but then I'm seeing less and less good deals. So how do I take my fewer deals right now? Like I used to do about 15 to 20 flips in 2016, 2017. And now I flip about 3 homes and I make way more money than I did back then. So how am I taking these homes and forcing superior returns, right? So this is a great example. This is a house in Sunset Hill. It was a single family house. But when I bought it, the basement, like if you see the left bottom photo, that basement already had a kitchen. So what I did was, instead of just converting it into a basic single family, I actually threw in a kitchen so that could become its own rental property. So then we ended up getting 7 offers on this because people could afford a larger mortgage if they had rental income to offset that mortgage. So that's like a big tip, is even if you're just taking a single family home to flip, if you can convert that into a rooming house or do like put your own special spin on it and somehow increase your income, like making it an Airbnb is a great income generating tip, right? So on that project, I ended up listing it for $990 and I sold it for $1,150,000 and made a profit of $220K.
I love that. Yeah.
And this is like honestly one of my favorite deals I've done. It was a single family home in Sammamish, Washington. I bought it for $570,000. I thought I was going to make a 30, like not 30, but a $50K profit on it. It was going to be a quick in and out flip, like 4 months and done. But as I bought it, I realized that I could subdivide the lot. And so I started that path of subdivision. The city told me it was going to take like a year to subdivide. It ended up taking 4 years.
Oh,
I know it was a long time, and it was a lot of good experience. So basically I went through all of these different buckets: feasibility, utilities, 500 grand in fees. But then what I did was I flipped the house, right? So this is the house. This is the house. I flipped it, rented it out. So my rent covered the mortgage and I didn't have to pay a penny to hold the house. And then 4 years after the fact, when we subdivided it, basically, this is how it shook up. Like there was 3 lots, 1 lot had the house. So last year in 2021, I sold the house for $1 million and I sold the 2 lots for $500K each.
wow.
And I made almost $1 million in profit.
So you sold that's amazing. Wow.
And that's one way of forcing superior returns, right? Like you take, and it was just going to be a single family flip. But if you can take it and really analyze a property from multiple angles and say, okay, how do I there's one exit strategy, but how do I put my spin on it and put like 10 other exit strategies? So that's kind of cool. This is another amazing project that I'm so proud of. I bought this house, like you can see, in 2018, just a single family house, but it was a weird looking single family house. So I fixed it up to the best of my ability and made it pretty and modern. So in 2019, that's what the house looked like. This house, again, had its own kitchen in the basement. So I took it from a 4-bed, 2-bath house to a 6-bed, 3.5-bath house with 2 kitchens. So they could easily have someone, renting out the basement and also living upstairs. But this is when, your network really plays into your deals. My stager who was staging this property was like, why aren't you holding this? It's in Shoreline. I mean, do you guys know the Shoreline market? It's insane. She's like, just add an addition and make it a rental. And so that's what I did. In 2020, I ended up adding that addition, took out the garage, added that addition, made this a 4,600 square foot, 10 bath, 10 bed, 6 bath house. So it has 3 different units. So that addition is 1 unit, then the whole upstairs is 1 unit, and then the basement is 1 unit. So it was crazy because permitting for this took me 8 months. And just as we got our permits, COVID happened. So we couldn't construct for 5 months. So we basically were in limbo for 18 months. So you also have to look at your own financial situation and say, okay, can I hold this property? Do I have it in me? Can I go get a private loan? And then do I have the confidence to actually get it done? Because additions are very tricky. When we went to add on 1,200 square foot to an existing house, it caused a huge leak in the basement. The roof had a leak. So, things like that happen, and you just have to set yourself up for success no matter what.
How much income are you getting off of that one? Did it say there? Did I miss it? Oh, sorry.
So I'm going to go through that. That house had 3 different scenarios I could use. One was to rent it out to an adult family home operator. So they would come in, they would live in the basement, and then they would have adults that they were taking care of. Great business strategy. The second is rent by room, where I would rent 10 bedrooms to 10 different people. I like that idea a lot. I can make a lot of money off of it, but it's also a lot of work. And I wasn't ready for that work. And then the third is rent by unit. So I could rent it to 3 different families. So each unit goes rented to a different family, but either option would work. And I would make up to, I think, $4,000 in positive cash flow. So the real life scenario though, is we have all 3 units rented out right now for a total income of $7,500. This project cost me about $950K total. And I have a mortgage on it for about $810K. Today, this property is worth 1.7. So if I actually did an appraisal and a cash out refinance, I could pull out all my money and then some, and then a lot of money, and it would still cash flow. And it's amazing to see, like, what Vija is saying, like, it's amazing to see my rent offset my mortgage, right? Because when I look at my mortgage statements, about $3,000 of my rent is going towards interest payments, but $2,000 of that is going towards paying off the mortgage. And every year, my mortgage my loan amount drops by about $25,000. And that's just money in the bank, in addition to cash flow, in addition to appreciation. And then my foray into multifamily. I ended up selling a condo a couple of years ago, and I swapped it, like I 1031 exchanged it to this triplex. This triplex is in the heart of Queen Anne, and I'll show you exactly where. So this is all of our booming tech. And this project is, I want to say, REI. Okay, so somewhere around here. So very close to all our tech. Amazing location. Now, this is a triplex that I am just getting my permits on. I'm going to convert to a 5-plex. The existing rent on it is $60,000. Once it's a 5-plex, it's $117,000. My rehab cost is $300K. Right now, the current valuation is 1.7. But just remember, I bought this in 2020 for 1.2. So already it's valued at 1.7. Once I'm done with it, it's going to be valued at 2.2. So just, this is the only way that I can buy properties and hold on to them in this market.
So you're just squeezing extra value. It's 11:59. So I want to honor everybody's time. So you're just basically squeezing extra value out of it. You're adding units, you're adding basements. I'm starting to see a formula of what you're doing to make it work in this really, really high price, expensive market.
Yep, exactly. And I'm just going to run through this. These are all the different strategies that I've used to exit my deals, and they work great. And if we had more time, I would walk you through a couple more, but but I also host a networking event for if you guys want to really get into the real estate investing network, like attend my meetups. They're great. We have a great guest coming up. And here's my info. If you want to reach out to me, feel free. I'm happy to share my spreadsheet with you. You can use that for your deal analysis. You can tweak it as you like it, and it suits you. So happy to do all that.
Thank you so much. And I think what maybe we'll do is maybe we'll email everybody and see if you guys like this topic, if you liked today, if you want more of it. We can certainly, offshoot this and pull some of you who want some more of this. We can spend more time on it, right? So let us know. Someone mentioned this was inspiring and they can't wait to go tell their significant other. One of the benefits of this and really the blessings of this is my husband runs our whole Tulsa operation. He loves it. It's given him, I think he feels like we're building empires together. Now it's been an incredible role for him. And who knew, like we didn't walk into it necessarily knowing that. He has really taken that over. He runs logistics. My only job is acquisition, yay or nay. I do the analysis. He takes care of the rest. And so, it's a really great partnership business to go in with your significant other. I just wanted to kind of plant that seed who might feel like you're off in the real estate world doing your thing, and it's a great way for you to do something together. So let us know if you want more of this. And I also understand that, some of you might be more interested in that than others. And we can certainly have just, some investment masterminds. I think this group, especially, you're a great group to be thinking about this right now. Right. So thank you, Leka. Maybe if they want us back, we'll come back and talk about it more with everyone. So
awesome. Thank you guys. Bye.
All right, everybody. Have a great week. Thank you.